And now, Kyle and Steven present another episode of the Go F Yourself podcast.
It's Fix.
Really? Well, that's embarrassing.
The Go Fix Yourself podcast.
Welcome to the Go Fix Yourself podcast, everybody. It's another special episode where Steven and I, your co-hosts, I'm Kyle, are doing a digital episode. So typically, I know it's kind of
the crowd goes wild.
They go mild. So as most of you know, we sit down with guests each and every week and try to kind of change our worldview one conversation at a time, aka fixing it. But a couple times now that with some illnesses and work and all these things that have come up in life, we've decided to do just a back-to-back special episodes of just the old Stevenator and Wild Kyle. Is kind of what I'm going with.
Stevenator and Wild Kyle?
Yeah.
God,
that sounds like a WWF tag team.
That sounds... Man, are we on top of the cage, like just throwing bodies off?
We only do cage fights. So we fight once a year, essentially. And we got Wild Kyle. I have a special. It's more of a belly flop.
What is it? Yeah.
Stevenator trips him, and then I'm from the top rope. Probably from the top of the cage.
Dang.
With a chair. With a chair.
We're in sync. Oh, my God. We're
yeah.
Good.
So we're still workshopping our wrestling moves a little bit.
Sounds like we got them, man. Sounds like we're good.
If you had like a finishing move, you know,
no.
you know, kind of like Mortal Kombat / who the figure four was a WWF like finisher, or you had rock bottom, people's elbow, all that stuff. What would yours be called?
Oh man, like. I mean, of course, my mind goes like, "Oh, the pile driver" or whatever. I would want it to be like something like misleading, like the butterfly, where it's like I spread their legs and their arms.
They're like, "What is going on here?" Oh no, he's about to butterfly me. I've got your legs spread, and I don't think you're ready.
I mean, but that's not...
that would be terrifying to hear on the broadcast. You know, they're like, oh, Stevenator's got the butterfly.
Here's the thing. I'm facing them. So I'm doing it with them. And we're like face to face. Now, that's
maybe
different.
Exactly.
The regular butterfly is different than the butterfly 69. Because that hurts even worse.
I was going to say, you probably have to have like a back tattoo of a butterfly, lower back.
Even better. Yeah.
Just to kind of really establish what your finishing move was.
Yeah.
I'd go with like, I'd call it the ding dong ditch, right? And it's basically, I press them, like I poke them in the eyes. That's what I do. Right?
Okay.
Poke them in the eyes, kick them in the junk.
Three Stooges style.
And run. Totally. They try to block it, and then a boom. Whatever. Coin purse. So
I see. They like do that, and then
I run.
It's a
ditch.
It's a misdirect. Mm-hmm. It's a misdirect.
100%.
Gotcha.
I don't remember if we talked about this forever ago, but do you know where the phrase coin purse came from? Like when we refer to your nether regions? Yeah.
I mean, not offhand. I would imagine it was like, I got a purse full of coins and it looks similar to what's going on dangling between your legs.
It looks similar because they used to use that to make like a little satchel.
I mean,
like,
hey,
some cultures.
Listen, if the guy dies and he's not going to be using it.
From nose to tail, that's kind of how I live my life,
I love this saying, like, use every part of the buffalo. Like, hey, if he's dying, like, use every part of the body,
Grandpa, I'm going to need some stuff.
I'll always remember you.
Carrying around my change. Yeah, so, I mean, there's a little tidbit a lot of people probably didn't know. You can look it up because it's real.
I don't wanna. I'm
Yeah.
sure I'll stumble on pictures and then I'll be like, well, you know what? That's enough internet for today.
Yeah,
It's
as you do.
That's something that happens, especially on Reddit. Do you peruse Reddit a lot?
Only for true crime stuff, to be
Okay.
honest. I
See,
try to get my breaking news there.
See, I'm a consistent, like, go through the popular stuff at night, just kind of like look at stuff and just kind of like whatever, scroll mindlessly. And most of the time I'm finding myself being like, okay, that was enough internet. That happened last night. That's why it's fresh in my mind. There's like, there was like body cam footage of like the Turpin family. If you're familiar with them, they basically chained their kids up to their beds, and like their house was disgusting. And so there's actual
Jesus.
body cam footage of the police like arriving for the
yeah.
first time. It was just, I was like, I couldn't even finish the video. I was like, that's enough. I'm done. And I put my phone
You
away.
went
I was like,
down you went down an interesting trail.
well, that was on the popular page.
Oh.
And so yeah, it was like that was like one of the, like, I don't go to like different like subreddits unless it's like stuff that I follow, but like it was on the popular page. So I was like, oh, what's this? And then it was body cam footage, and I just kind of got sucked in, as one does. And the next thing I know, I'm like seeing this child chained to his bed. I'm like, okay, oh, that's enough. People are disgusting.
Yeah, that's a interesting thing because I've had this, and this whole episode is really just kind of Steve and I catching up on a few different things. Last episode, we kind of went through what happened the last few months and where we're at, what we're doing, but Steve and I don't get a whole lot of time to check in on, like, what are you consuming? What are you watching? What are you listening to? Blah, blah, blah. All those things that are kind of fun that, some people listen to and they're like, oh, I'm going to check that out, or, oh, I'm never going to check that out. It's kind of a give or take. So I had this situation on the golf course the other night that really made me think about my life and how it's changed. And that sounds weird, but so I'm playing golf and there's this pond with some ducks in it, right? It's a mama duck and like 6 little ducklings. And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, the duck starts going crazy. And it's because this big bald eagle starts swooping down, trying to snag the little ducklings. And I just felt this.
Circle of life, baby.
It is. It's nature. It's brutal. It's gross in a way, but beautiful. And there was just this thing in my stomach where I'm like, please, God, do not let any of them get a duckling. Like, I'm like, the eagle's hungry. The mama doesn't want to lose her bait. No.
You got your faith back.
No, I didn't. I was
Just
like,
in that moment. You're like,
I was like, let what happens.
this is it, Jesus. I will come back to you.
This is my one request.
If you do this for me, I'll be back.
If you let me hit this ball at this eagle and strike it, I'll come back.
Get a birdie.
Yeah.
Literally.
An eagle is even better.
An eagle, yeah.
But like watching that happen, I was like, I feel like this used to not bother me. I used to like consume a lot of true crime stuff like we talked about. And like, and I think having a little daughter has ruined me of any interest in that
Or
stuff.
made you better.
I mean, like in the sense has ruined that.
You're
that
not so
topic for me.
pessimistic anymore.
Well, I'm just not interested in reading about it because I'm just like, oh, that's so sad. Like it just bums me out. And so like
someone's daughter.
Exactly.
Yep.
And even like animals, I'm just like, God, that poor mother and father just lost their. So I've been consuming so much less true crime over the past year, I would say. It's just like it doesn't appeal to me anymore, which is weird because I always pictured my life full of it, full of true crime.
Yeah, I don't. That's not a topic I tend to gravitate towards. It's more. I mean, and this is a good segue if this is where you were heading. I've been consuming more, like self-improvement stuff, I guess you could say.
Trying to improve old Stevenator.
Oh, always and forever, baby.
Yeah.
There's multiple books I'm reading right now. One is The Creative Act by Rick Rubin. And if you're familiar with Rick Rubin, he is a producer that's helped like everybody from like Red Hot Chili Peppers to System of a Down to Pharrell to so on and so forth. And he wrote this book about tapping into like, your creative life and your creative drive. And then I'm also reading, and I just started reading this one. It's called A Year to Live. And it's basically, living out your next year as if you were going to die. And so basically it's like teaching people to be ready for death. And death is something that I'm like afraid of and scared of. And so I've been like trying to come to terms with it more, I guess. And so I'm reading this book, and it's really, really damn good because I think I have a lot of pent up grossness about death. And so I'm trying to fix that. But what about you? Are you reading any books?
Yeah, right now I picked up, because being a parent, as some of our listeners inevitably are, I constantly struggle with the sentiment of being just a bad parent. You know, you're not doing good enough. You're too strict, or you're not strict enough.
Right.
You let your kids watch too much TV, or not enough, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
It's constant
Well, I mean,
state of unknown.
You got it. Yeah. I mean, that's what I've been telling you.
Yeah.
You're just not a good parent.
You're
You're watching
bad.
too much TV.
Don't hit them. You know, don't
Yeah.
throw
Because I
them
know.
down.
With all my kids. Yeah.
Right. And so I picked up, I kind of been doing some soul searching on like, what do I want to be good at in my life? And I want to be, one of the best podcasters eventually, obviously.
Oh, of course.
Close. I mean, we may have already
there.
hit it.
We're getting there.
But I think, and it's something I've always struggled with, but I want to be a good dad. And I think every parent says they want to be a good parent, like
Right.
truly. So I picked up this book, Ryan Holiday. It's the Daily Dad. So this is a guy that's basically a modern day philosophizer, and he's really big on stoicism, and obstacle is the way, all these different books. And he came out with 366 days of Stoic 365 or whatever. Regardless, Daily Stoic. And so it's a daily reader, basically, kind of like chicken noodle soup for the soul back in the day, if you ever had those.
What?
I know. Those had some
Those are good.
bangers in there. My mom got me teen relationships ones, or like love or something.
Hell
Teenage
yeah.
chicken noodle soup,
yeah.
soul, blah, blah, blah. And I used to read that every night and be like, man, I'm 15. I'm going to be married in probably 3 years, so I better get read up.
That's
and
what
all
I
this
was
stuff.
thinking too.
Yeah,
I
I was
was
like, be married fresh out of high school, obviously, because Jesus. And
because Jesus.
yeah, and anyways, so there's the Daily Stoic, which is just one chapter, essentially one page of information passed on from thousands of years about living a good life, and then the Daily Dad is the same idea directed towards parents. And it's been really nice to read every day, because I feel like it was like 5 days in a row of reading it. It was almost too exact. I was like, God dang, they were listening to me.
I noticed, you shared something on your story.
Right.
And I was like, oh, interesting. He's reading about being a better dad. Good for you, Kyle. Good for
Yeah,
you.
it was one of those. I had now we're going to get real. I had a fat Kyle night.
Yeah.
Yeah, real bad. Like, almost can't even. I'm embarrassed to talk about it, but I will.
Tell us.
So I played. The wife and kids went out of town to go see some family in Talkeetna, and I played some golf late at night with some buddies. And I got done, hadn't eaten dinner or anything, and I'm starving. Right? And it's like 11:30, nothing's open, and I'm like, pizza sounds delicious. So I go get a stuffed crust pizza, frozen. Not great, right?
That's my favorite type of frozen pizza, though. Stuffed crust.
And I did it. And then I picked up and let me finish before you react, a Magnum ice cream.
Oh, okay. Magnum.
Yeah. And you know what I'm talking about? The pints that you crack?
Oh, yeah.
And I got those home, and I watched Extraction 2.
Oh, how was it?
It was entertaining.
Yeah.
But I almost died that night, I think, from being so full.
Yeah.
Like, I ate the entire frozen pizza and the entire
nice.
ice cream.
Good for you. You know
And
what?
I laid there.
We need those days. We need to live
I
a
laid there
little.
like this, and I was like, I think the Lord's going to take me tonight. I'm done. I can't move.
Yeah.
It was bad.
I get that though. I mean, I'm still. I mean, let's talk about Fat Steven and Fat Kyle nights. I'm still uncomfortably full from last night. You know, like how you have those nights where you're just like eating, and then it just like it crosses over to the next day. Yeah, I'm still. I went to see Indiana Jones, the new one, last night.
Yeah. How was that?
First off, way to end the series, right? I'm a big Indiana Jones
it's over
fan.
now?
It's over. 5 movies and it's done.
Done.
They said they might have spin-off movies, but like basically Harrison Ford, of course, is done. I guess their agreement back in 1989 was 5 movies.
Oh.
And so like they had to
They hit
make that, they finally did it, here we are 45 years later or whatever. And then anyway, so it was a great movie, but we went out to dinner beforehand. And so we bought a bunch of stuff and I had some beers. And then of course I'm going to the movies. So I'm going to need popcorn. I'm going to need candy. I'm going to need a Coca-Cola, all inside me. And I was just like halfway through the movie, I was like, oh, there's a gut bomb. And then I was like, got home and I was just like, this is not feeling good. And then of course I woke up today and I was like, still feeling it. But you know what? Do I regret it, Kyle? You ask? No, I don't. I had fun. I enjoyed it. I had a lovely dinner with my wife and we went out to see a great movie and I had snacks. Now, should I have shown a little more constraint? Absolutely.
Sure, yeah. The way I look at it is I know I've overdone it when I'm considering should I make myself throw up to feel better.
I was thinking
and
that
I was
last night,
to
too.
that point. I was
That's
like,
funny. Yeah.
I should get this out of my body because I've made a huge mistake.
Yeah,
But-
I don't know if I could do that. I hate throwing up so much that I would probably never do that.
Yeah. I don't
anyway.
mind it. It's not my favorite, but, it happens.
Yeah, not my favorite either. Yeah, it does happen, but even when I'm like, hungover and drunk or whatever, I'm like, I will literally like power through and like not like puke. I will like my brain will be more willpower and I'll just be like, don't do it. You're not gonna do it, and just like I won't do it.
It's so sad.
Force
that-
myself not to puke.
You would think we would just like not get to that point to have to even have that conversation, but we're weak. We're weak people.
Well, it's all about the showing constraint and the humankind. We aren't good at that. Most of us, saying enough is enough. Especially me.
I'm going to touch on one other thing that I've been watching that I've been like just deep in. And I didn't know that I was going to enjoy it so much, but I've been watching Banshee on HBO.
What is
It's a
that?
Cinemax show. It's got
Skinamax?
yeah, the devil. Well, it's on Hell's box office. If you know what that is, HBO.
Oh, you
That's
dirty
what my
dog.
school called it. Hell's
box office.
Yeah, I was
Oh
like,
man.
Well, that sounds pretty
Sopranos
cool.
are on there.
Yeah. You guys should have made it sound less cool because now
The
I'm
Sopranos
intrigued.
shows nudity. You shouldn't watch that.
So Banshee is the main character is Homelander from The Boys, and I can't think of that guy's name.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know. It's Chris. Whatever. Anyways, so he plays essentially this thief that tricks his way into being the sheriff of this small town, like fakes identity, blah blah blah. And it's this small town in Banshee, Pennsylvania, and it just goes off the rails. It's one of the like grittiest, nudiest shows like I've ever watched.
Is it gnarly?
Yeah, a few scenes I'm like
Violent?
Oh yeah, way violent. I was like,
You got my attention.
oh man, I like watched the first episode and I was just like, okay, I'm hooked. And,
Okay, all right.
There's 4 seasons and I'm almost through the 3rd season now, and I'm like, this show's great.
Is it done after 4 seasons?
Yeah. It came out in like 2013 or something, the first season, because this was before The Boys and all that stuff happened.
It's a while
But
ago.
yeah, it's a great show. If you haven't checked it out, I know a lot of people
Never heard of it.
Yeah, so everybody that has watched it has loved it that I've met. kind of
That sounds
idea.
great.
Like they're like, oh, I watched that. I need to watch that again. Blah blah blah. So
I've been watching Yellowstone, the Kevin Costner Cowboy TV show.
yeah.
Dude, I don't know what it is. I remember when I was a kid, like I wanted to be a cowboy. Like I had this like, cowboy outfit for my birthdays. We'd have cowboy food. We'd have,
Cowboy food. What's cowboy food?
like cornbread, baked beans, stuff that's
like Southern food. Yeah.
yeah. I would listen to country music, and then this is almost embarrassing to say. I
Say
had
it.
this like CD that it was like 4 old guys, and they were like one of those like country like vocalist groups. Like the closest I can think of is like Gaither. Was it Gaither? Like Bill Gaither vocal group or whatever. It's like kind of like that. It was like a Christian country, 4 old white dudes singing like this awful country, and I loved that CD so much that I wore it out. So this, if that shows you anything, I'm like, I've completely forgotten about this childhood fantasy that I wanted to be a cowboy. Like I had, like the guns that had
You
like
had your 6-shooter.
Oh, I definitely had a 6-shooter, but it had what was like the pop.
The pops. Yeah.
Yeah.
Pop guns. Yeah.
Yep. And so I had those, and I was just obsessed with all things cowboy. And so I definitely like put that all behind me now. But then like so I've
That's
been starting
good.
to watch this Yellowstone TV show, and I'm just like,
Alicia's take the hat off, Steven.
don't tell me what to do.
Yeah.
like just
Howdy,
be
ma'am.
real rude. Yeah. I've been obsessed with that show, and so I've been like watching it like at least maybe 1 episode a day for a long time, and I've really just powered through. And
Because it's long, isn't it? It's got a lot
It's
of
long.
seasons.
Yeah, so five seasons. I think that's it. I think this is it. They just released the 5th season, and so yeah, I'm gonna finish that, and then I'm gonna be I'm probably gonna go horseback riding, which I think would be really fun because now I'm
Obviously.
like watching this show, and I'm like, I want to go horseback riding.
I need to ride something. Yep.
Yeah, dude. But it's like Alicia will show, she'll come in or out while I'm watching the show, and like they're not nice to each other. They're a horrible like definition of family. They kill people. Of course, it's violent and whatever. But I love it. It's all drama, and like Alicia will be like, "Oh, what are you watching?" Like it's just like one of those shows where you're like, it's not for everybody.
Yeah.
It's not for everybody. They're not very mental health. They don't put mental health first. Let's just say
What is
that.
and I don't know what it is with people walking in on like the worst timing for like shows and
Oh, yeah.
movies, and it's like the meme of showing like the WWF, like where they're like doing this all the time, or like some of the scenes in WWF were very like edgy, and that was like. Those were the times your parents walked in while you were watching it, and they're like, what is this? And you'd be like, it was just, they do that.
Dude,
That's
the sex scenes in movies, like the movie could be so clean, and then all of a sudden, like they start kissing, and they might not show anything, but then all of a sudden your parents walk in, they're like, turn it off right now. And you're like, come on. Oh,
This is my favorite part. Okay.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's definitely been happening.
What's the
more
worst?
with this Yellowstone?
Can you think of a time that's happened, like the worst time? While you're thinking of that, I'll tell you mine.
Okay, yeah, I was say I don't really have a story.
So it was when Molly and I were dating, and I
Watching porn.
close. No, and it's like a lot of people. I feel like it was cool to say like I like watching scary movies, right? Like a lot of people kind of just use that as a trope to like. I feel like watch stuff together and be
I'm
close.
strong.
Yeah. So I was like, hey, we should watch this movie that I don't think I had seen it yet. And it was called the I Saw the Devil. Do you remember that one? It's like a Korean serial killer movie.
I think maybe.
And it's on like Netflix.
I never saw
and
it,
it's basically the idea is there's this serial killer that I believe kills this guy's fiance, this detective's fiance, and so the detective tracks him down and is like trying to murder
Get
him.
revenge.
Essentially, it's a revenge film. But there's a scene in there that is involves a woman and a man in a non-consensual act.
Oh,
And
that's
so we're
the worst.
Well, no, I agree. And so we're sitting there watching it, me and Molly.
That's just
and
so
then-
uncomfortable.
I agree. And I didn't know this was coming up because I was like, and then, so right when this scene is coming on, her sister and some friends come up the stairs while this scene starts. And I'm like sitting there like,
Yeah.
oh, God. I was like, we should
Come on in. This is the best part, guys.
get some popcorn.
Join us.
And so
Join us.
Graphic, long scene starts playing out. And I'm just like uncomfortable. I'm like, I didn't know. I didn't know.
That's the fucking
And there's like 5
worst.
people in the living room like, what are you watching? I was like, it's...
This has been the whole movie. This is just like this. Duh.
Yeah.
You idiots.
So it's just one of those times where I was like, that was far worse than my parents walking in. I was just like, all these people think I'm some sort of freak
Yeah.
now. 'Cause
I get that.
this is my favorite movie, they probably think.
Oh, man.
So, that wasn't my favorite time, but it happened.
Yeah, no, I get that. And I mean, I feel like it's the only times. I mean, of course, Alicia doesn't like that kind of stuff, or
yeah.
any kind of violent stuff, right? And so it's like when it's on the TV, of course, she just like happens to come down the stairs or into the living room when I'm watching, and I'm just like, this is who I am. You know what?
Yeah.
Accept me for who I am.
Steven, take the cowboy clothes off.
All right, you
Yeah.
got it, ma'am. You got it.
Yeah, I don't know. It's one of those things like even watching stuff at the theater, I get uncomfortable.
Oh yeah,
You remember your first time seeing Titanic?
I do actually.
And
I have a little story. I could tell you a story about that. It's not really
Okay.
funny or anything. It's just more like
your body reacted in a funny way.
yeah, it did. So we were at a friend's house where it's a birthday. It's a neighbor's house, and it's a birthday, and we're playing video games. And then, of course, one of the kids is like, "Dude, let's watch Titanic for the boobs." And I was like, "Oh, whatever." I'm in the other room watching, video games. And then I come in, and of course, it's the drama like French girls, and I see boobs for the first time. Might I add you? They were my first pair of boobies, and so I was like, "Holy shit!" And I felt so guilty. So me and my brother, we were both there, and we were both, we were Christian boys. Like we're
Yeah,
not supposed to
just
be
sitting
watching
there holding
this
hands.
stuff.
Yeah.
Titanic is the devil. Leonardo DiCaprio was the worst actor in the world. It was like we were just so indoctrinated. It was crazy. And of course, we felt so guilty because like when my mom was like, "Hey, how was the birthday party?" We told her.
I saw
And it was
boobs.
It was
Big old boob.
Oh man, I just as a kid I felt guilt and shame. It's just like I saw boobs, and now I love that movie. It's a
Now I
phenomenal
bet you
movie.
do. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like I just fast forwarded to that part, and then all right, I don't need to watch the rest of it. But
Screenshot, background of phone, done.
yeah, but man, I have core memory of that of like being so guilty. I remember exactly where I was sitting when I told my mom like we saw Titanic. Oh, did you?
Oh, what'd you think?
We saw a naked lady.
Yeah.
Like, oh, okay. Like
It was-
and it's just like I don't think we got like reprimanded or anything.
Right.
But it was just like the guilt and the shame that was just inside. That it was like I shouldn't have watched. I should have turned away. And it's just like, poor young little Steven.
But yeah, the Titanic movie definitely raised a lot of red flags, I think, in the Christian community growing up.
Yeah.
Because it was PG-13, right?
Yep.
It was not R. And
Nope.
there's some caveat with that because when we were around that age, everybody wanted to see the Titanic. I mean, the biggest movie
was the hugest- yeah, it was the
ever
biggest
at
movie,
that
yeah.
time. And so I'm pretty sure I went with my friend and his mom, and we're sitting there
Went to go see it in
in theater. Yeah.
Oh wow.
And his mom literally grabbed his face during that whole thing and
And
covered
so,
him.
but what?
And I'm
you
like-
were just left there to go.
Has anybody else seen this? I was like, wow. Wow. And it was at that moment.
Hats off to the filmmakers. I mean, just cinema gold. Cinema gold.
I went home and I said, Mom, Dad, can we go to Blaine's Art Supplies? Because I will be an artist. I'm going to do it. I'm going to draw people.
That's it.
So, yeah, I just remember that was a conversation for a lot of boys at that time being like, did you see Titanic?
Oh, yeah. For sure.
Nice.
Well, what have you been doing recently? Enjoying the summer. It's actually, as we're recording this, we're recording inside, but outside is beautiful for like the first time.
It's not too bad today. It's been very rainy, very depressing.
Yes.
I've been diving into the old golf game. I got a busy schedule coming up with tournaments and all that stuff. So golf's been heavy on the rotation, but I've been really kind of thinking about like some money making ideas.
Oh.
And I don't like to say that because I feel like it's so
more.
cheesy. Yeah, I just have been curious about like, is there things I'm missing out on doing that are easy opportunities to
100%.
to make money, right?
100%.
And like,
Sell your body.
what am I willing to do to make that money? And if it's too much work or too much effort, then it's probably not for me. Like, I'm trying to find the easiest route to make money that isn't so easy that everybody's doing it. Yeah. And so I've been researching a lot on just like what are, oh God, she's so loud. Startup ideas and like things that people are almost like the passive income, which I just don't believe exists. Like, I truly don't.
I mean, I don't know, man.
I mean, the idea of it exists, but
there is a lot of groundwork you have to lay.
Well,
first.
And you can't generally just put something out there that people will like. To stay at the top of algorithms and stuff like that, it has to be something that people are searching for,
right?
Or it has to be highly sought after.
I mean, here's my newest endeavor is like as we talked about here last week. I think we put up merchandise on our website on
GoFixYourselfPodcast.com. Go check it out. Go buy it all. Go buy everything. Get yourself a coffee mug.
Yeah. Which I do have the coffee mugs around here somewhere. But so I also did that for Thera as well. So Thera, we just, we talked about this last week, is we had a show with Limp Bizkit, and it was big, and we sold merch for the first time in so many years. And a lot of people wanted it. So we're like, all right, what's the best way to do this? We could just put up orders, but then we'd have to ship the shirts ourselves and go to the post office. Right. And as you and me know, we've done that before, and it's a lot of work. And so I chose to go the same route that Go Fix Yourself is going and just do drop shipping. And so I ordered some samples, and I tested them out. I was like, okay, these are quality. I like this. It feels good. And so we did it. And I mean, like, we've been getting multiple orders a day. So it's like I just had to do the hard work of getting them designed, right? So I designed one, and our friend Jordan designed the other, which hers is way better than mine. So if you're going to go, buy hers. And then now I just, made sure I had the right samples and the right quality. And then now they're just living on our website, and it's like, we're doing okay. I'm not going to say that we're doing like amazing, but it's like I woke up and it's like, oh, you have another order, and it's like, so that's just a little bit of the passive income.
I would push back on the sense that like if you guys have to continue being a band and doing stuff to make more sales, essentially,
right?
Like you have to stay in people like. Yes, you've gotten some sales and that's awesome, but like if you drop a new album, then you're going to drive all these new people to like, oh,
exactly.
So that's what I mean in the sense like you have to keep going.
Yeah, I mean,
you can't just like quit the band and then expect to make the same amount of sales.
No, you have to market it somehow.
Exactly.
I mean, there is work that gets involved, but it goes to like you could hire people to do that for you, right?
Oh yeah.
So it's like we would do the so get rid of the Thera, the music thing. But like, say like, we put a digital product out there, and it's like, okay, we did the startup, we marketed it, we built the audience, we built the following, but now we're like, we want to be more hands off. I want to just go travel and wake up to $6,000. It's like you can hire VAs or you can hire, kids from UAA or whatever to do it for you. And so it's like that's where the passive income starts to kind of come into effect, where it's like, all right, yeah, I'm paying people to do it. The work is still getting done, and I only have to work, so many hours on it every week or every month. That's the dream, I think, of passive income.
Yeah,
it's not, but it's hard to. I mean, we both of us, have been chasing after that for years, and I feel like we're still not 100% getting it. I will say one thing. One of my passive income streams is design templates. And so I've designed a bunch of like filmmaker templates for my work, as in like portfolio, resume stuff, or storyboards or pitch decks or whatever. And then I put these up to this website called Creative Market. And then, I still make hundreds of dollars a month on that. And I don't market. I've never once posted about, well, no, maybe I have. I posted once about stuff, but I haven't posted about it and marketed it.
Right.
But I'm still making hundreds of dollars a month on just like people searching for this stuff, finding it, buying it. So there, it's out there.
I
It's
do
just
agree
smaller.
that it exists to some level. I don't think
Yeah.
it's as glorious as people make it sound like. I did this one thing and it makes me 10 grand a month, like every month
Right.
for the past 3 years.
Yeah,
Like,
definitely haven't gotten to that position. But the reason that got me into Creative Market is like this guy, his name's Dustin something, and he owns Retro Supply Shop, which is like a design templates and design brushes and things for like retro style. It's all, makes it all look like old 1970s or older or whatever. And so he has this story because he taught this course called Passive Income for Designers. And so I took it, and basically he had this story of like, I was $30,000 in debt. He's like, I had my first child on the way. He's like, I had no idea what I was doing. I was just fired from my job. He's like, I was no money in the bank. And so he started busting out these like design resources. And then he just put them up online and made, more than his debt, and paid off his debt, and had enough money for the baby and all that stuff in the first month. So that was years ago, before it was like oversaturated, but it still is a thing. It can happen. I think it just depends on what you do, and you just have to be there in the right time, I think, and then just do it the right way.
Right. Yeah, I
Right.
feel like you gotta keep up with it too. Like you gotta obviously come out with new programs and new templates.
I think, yeah,
stuff
I think
like
we
that.
should. I think there's a lot of passive income ideas. Maybe we should have someone on who's like a passive income, guru or something.
A coach, passive income coach, PIC.
Yeah, if that is a thing, I don't even know, but that would be interesting to
I'm
to
inventing it. Yeah.
You're gonna be it.
I'm gonna be the first.
I've never made money online, but
I don't
I'm your
even know
coach.
what money is all a farce. So you know what?
Yeah,
Yeah, that's a whole world. I feel like I'm not interested in like I'm not obsessed with making money, but I am intrigued by like a lot of things that like people are doing where it's like, oh, I did this and this was so simple. I saw an opening in the market that I
right.
blah blah blah.
I
And
mean,
I'm
of
always like, oh,
course,
that's cool.
like some people, I think make it easier than others.
I think
but also
people
at
lie.
the same time, yeah, I also think at the same time, like you have to enjoy what you're doing too, and I think that's one thing too. It's like some of the stuff I'm like drop shipping from Amazon FBA,
Yeah,
fulfillment
we
by
did. We
Amazon.
looked into all that stuff,
Right, but it was just like I was like, oh, I only wanted the money, right? That was the only thing I wanted to do. The whole process to get there didn't look enjoyable to me. I didn't want to do it, and so that's the thing. I'm like, it can look so appealing, the end goal, but like getting there, I mean, in my head, or at least from my experience, has been like, I have to enjoy what I'm doing, or I have to like, be proficient in it, I guess. So it makes it easier for me. I don't know.
Yeah,
But
this
I'm
this
kind
was
of
one-
curious. I'd be kind of curious what your business ideas.
Yeah, I mean, there's a few. I mean, I was thinking about this. I was driving around yesterday, and I was listening to this podcast that was like, stoic quotes to live your life by or something. It was some podcast. And, a lot of them are just pretty much basic information, like, don't strive after treasure, strive after being a good man or,
Right.
stuff like that. And I was like, man, what do I have to say in my life to like, oh, Jesus.
She died.
Molly's hitting him now, I'm like, what do I have to do in my life to get a quote attributed to you? Like,
You do have a quote. You have a quote in what was that? Entrepreneur
in
Magazine?
Entrepreneur Magazine.
Yeah, you do have a quote in there.
I don't know what I'm doing. Kyle. But do you ever think about that? It's like, how do you become a meme? Not a meme, but like, one of those Instagram pictures of just like your face. And then it's like, you know what? Passive income's real. Stephen Cornfield. Like it's like, what do you have to do?
It's very easy to do that, Kyle.
I
can make that. I can make that happen today.
We should
you send
make
me the
our own
picture, and
quotes.
then I'll just put a quote, like something completely. That'll be our content for this week of social media.
Yeah, well, I can already kind of picture what mine would be. Is like, making millions is like a 6-pack. I like the idea of it. I'm not going to do the work. Kyle. That's kind of my that's my
Makes
quote
it
that
easy.
I hope is on my tombstone. Yeah,
I
because
will. You know what? I will make that a graphic this week.
yeah, I want that read. I want that in my obituary at least. I mean, Kyle had a lot of words of wisdom.
It'll be on your
right? And
tombstone. We'll put it on your tombstone.
Maybe. So
Yeah.
it just comes down to what are you going to spend your time on, and it's just like a lot of these
Yep.
things I'm not going to, and I just know that.
Yeah. I think the one thing too, and this kind of ties into what I've been reading, is like, and Ryan Holiday, you're reading a book by him. He has a book called Ego is the Enemy. Now I haven't read it, but I know what it's about, and I'm that Year to Live book is similar vein, but it's basically like death to my ego, which is, if you're not familiar with it, it's basically like, you get so associated with the beliefs and everything that you grow up with. For us, it was Christianity, or also just like, being white, and also all this other stuff. And so death to my ego is basically like saying like, all right, let's tear everything down. So I tore some stuff down, but there's still a foundation that needs to be ripped apart. And so I've been trying to do that. And what I've realized is that like most of my endeavors, I'm like, it's all selfish, right? It's all like I could tell myself for so much like, oh, I want to help people. I want to help people in this. Like, oh, I want to teach people this. I want to teach people that. But really in the back of my head, I'm like, ooh, I actually want the money or the recognition or all this stuff. It's like my ego. I mean, this is a little different than death to ego, but like it's always in the back of my head. Like, what's in it for me? What's in it for me? And that's something I've been like trying to work on. And so like before I start any other side endeavors, which I have a lot of them, I first want to do like this work where I'm like, this isn't about the recognition, the fame, or the money that I will potentially get. I don't want to do that for that, because what I'm realizing is like if I do that starting out, it's just gonna end up, I think Cut and Caliber was similar, where it's like we were basically like, ooh, we can have a huge get a lot of money and all that stuff, but it was more just like we were focusing on making the money and growing bigger and bigger and bigger. And I think in the end it like has to come down to like you and what you want to do. I get caught up in what's in it for me, but really it's I want to be what's in it for them, but I actually want to mean it, stuff like that.
Yeah, I
makes
mean,
sense.
I think we're all. I mean, humans are just selfish at the end of the day. It's like,
Yeah.
a lot of people have kids because they want people to
Legacy.
carry on their name, or
Yeah.
even to take care of them when they're older. Like having kids is a lot of people are like, it's the least selfish thing you could do is bringing a life in to like raise them. And I'm like, yeah, I mean, I get it, but essentially something you usually want if you're having kids. And it's like everything we do is kind of like looking back at us and being like, well, how does it benefit myself? And that's just human nature. I mean, we do very
Looking back at me, I see that I
hit the
never
button.
really got it right.
Oh God.
Yeah, that's what we should do.
Yeah, we need our little.
been
Are
a
you
while.
sure about that? Are you sure?
Are you sure? 55 fries, 55 potatoes, 55 burgers,
God.
55 potatoes.
Speaking of that, there was a GQ article that said like Tim
My
Robinson,
boyfriend.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah, I saw that.
And then I posted the meme of him in the hot dog suit. Wrong. And like everybody was liking that. 'Cause it's just he has so many memes that are applicable to like.
Oh man, he's
Things.
perfect.
I know.
I love him. I would love to get him on the
Are
podcast.
you sure
man.
about that? Are you sure?
Also, I'm excited for Nate Bargatze. He's coming up.
Coming up to AK, yeah.
We're gonna try to get him on the podcast. I want to
Wouldn't
get
that
him.
be something?
Dude, that would
Wouldn't be something.
That would be wild if we get him on because I think he is like one of my favorite comedians right now.
Are you going to see Kill Switch?
I don't think so.
I'm on the fence. I'm so
Yeah,
old. I don't
maybe.
like driving 45 minutes for a concert.
Here's the thing: there's like multiple things that are happening at the fair, and for those that don't live in Alaska State Fair, it's one of the biggest
It's
things.
a big deal.
It is a big deal. We got a ton of national acts. So Nate Bargatze is a performer that's performing at the fair. Killswitch Engage is performing, but there's also a bunch of other
Young
people that
Gravy.
are performing as well that a lot of friends want to go see. And so, here's the thing I don't like about the fair. You pay for the ticket to get into the fair, but you also pay for the ticket for the concert. Now, I get it, but also I'm like, that's a lot of money just right there. Just for a day. So if I want to go see multiple things, we're talking hundreds and hundreds of dollars. And then of course you want to buy food, you're walking around, you want to purchase stuff maybe, but mostly the food. And so I think I'm going to limit myself to like 2 things. 2 days.
2 days of fun. I got you.
Yes.
I mean, that makes
that's
sense.
That's what I'm going to go to. And so I think, Nate's going to be one of them. And then there's another guy I don't even know, but Noah Cahan or
Noah Khan.
yeah, whatever. He's coming up, and
Yeah,
I don't
big
know
fan.
him, but no, I don't even know what his music sounds like.
Really?
But apparently, no, I have no idea.
Oh my
And,
God. Me and Molly listen the crap out of that guy. It's
See,
good.
that's what I've been hearing. Everybody's like, "Oh, I'm going to buy tickets to his show," and I'm like, "Well, I'll go with you," but I have no idea who he is.
I had to
So
learn stick season on guitar just so my wife would leave me
Really?
alone. Yeah.
interesting. Look at
pretty
you,
easy.
still learning guitar. Anyway, well, I think we'll figure that out. I think I definitely want to go to Nate. So that's August 26th on your birthday.
On my B-Day, maybe
yeah.
he'll do. Oh, maybe we could, finagle that in there and be like, "Hey, it's Kyle's birthday, and you should come on the
Yeah.
podcast because that'd be a great present for him." And
Yeah, you're like, who the fuck is Kyle?
I'd be
Yeah.
like, "You're not even the first person to say that today."
We should have Tessa, if you're listening, go email Nate's management. Start that right now.
Yeah.
Because we want to have him on the podcast.
We need our producer to
like
reach out instead of us.
Yeah. Our first main non-Alaskan dude that could come on the podcast, which would be real fun.
Wouldn't that be? And we could take him golfing. He's a big golfer.
He is a big golfer. You would take him golf. Actually, I could too because I do have clubs.
You could video it, and we could make a like driving in cars with strangers, but golfing with.
That's actually
comedians.
that would be funny. We do a podcast and then we go take him golfing.
Oh my God!
That actually, you know what, Tessa, make it happen, Tessa.
I will take him. I'll get him the nice. We'll play the best golf course Alaska's got.
Just
easy.
the one, just
Yeah,
the one.
And I'll tell him it's private, even though we don't have private courses here. And I'll tell him I'll get him in.
Yeah, yeah. Nate, if you're listening, we can get you in, my guy.
Anywhere.
I do want to go play golf more because I bought these brand new clubs, but I bought these brand new clubs after watching Full Swing on Netflix. Mm-hmm. I was like obsessed, and I was like, oh my gosh, I love this show. I have to play golf. That was in the winter, like February, March.
Yeah.
How many times have I played golf, Kyle?
0.
Zero. Yes, exactly. I haven't even taken these things outside of this garage yet. So I definitely, I posted on Instagram stories. I was like, I need to get out. I need to go golfing. So I think I'm going to go golfing this next week. At least just go to the drive, because that's really, I need to practice before I can.
Go to the driving range.
Yes, the driving range. No, just drive the golf carts.
Yeah.
So that's my plan for the next week. I want to get better at that. I want to fix my game.
What you and Alicia need to do is on Friday nights at Anchorage Golf Course, they do burger and brew. And so you get a basket of balls, you get a burger and a beer from a different brewery.
That's tonight.
Each
I'll
Friday.
be busy tonight, but
Right. Yeah. But they do that every Friday. It's usually a good time. You just go smack some balls, have a little food and beer, and
that sounds
you're good.
great.
Yeah.
That sounds really good. That does sound fun. I might do that. All right. Well, maybe that's what that's my goal. I'm gonna fix on working my death to my ego. I'm gonna keep reading those books. I'm gonna work on my golf game, get that better. So by the end of the summer, I'm just like, oh, I'm ready to go, guys. Oh,
Nate, I'm gonna smoke you.
Yeah.
We'll see
Yeah.
And he's gonna be
Yeah,
excuse me? At golf.
Yeah. What are you gonna work on this next week?
Oh, this next week. Fudge. What is coming up? It's 4th of July coming up.
Yeah.
So
It's actually this episode will drop July 3rd.
Yep.
We're a few days before that, but
I gotta work every day this week. I don't even get a holiday. So
What?
Yeah, finance.
Oh man, not even like a day. You don't get a 4-day weekend
Nope.
or a 3-day weekend or whatever.
Nothing.
Bummer.
Yeah. So it's gonna be
Just
a
gotta
normal week.
work on
and
those side hustles, dude. Get those
I-
going off the ground.
You know what? Until they pay me more, I guess. It's just what I got to deal with. You got anything going on special? Camping?
Tramping? Little film thing tonight.
yeah.
Blackwater Railroad this weekend. Yep, and then medium build. July 7th, July 8th out in Hope. I bought 2 days for tickets because I wasn't sure.
I'm gonna see I'm gonna see him at Hilltop. I think that's
late
late July 27th.
Anchorage Concerts. Yeah, I'll be
Yeah.
filming that one. July 27th with Anchorage Concerts and medium build.
Well, I think that was a good little recap of everything that we've been doing, listening, reading, watching, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
We covered it all. We really did.
We really did.
Yeah.
Well, good job. Good to see you.
Yeah.
And next week we will be back with actual guests.
Yeah.
We have like multiple guests scheduled.
We got a lot coming up.
Of course,
Yeah.
cancellations and reschedules can happen, but we are planning at this point that we will be back in action, baby.
Yeah. We just want to thank you guys again for always tuning in, leaving comments, messages, all the things you guys do. Be sure to go to gofixyourselfpodcast.com. Check out some of our new merch we're dropping.
I think I'm wearing a shirt actually. I think I'm wearing the exact same shirt I
wearing
was
the exact
last
shirt. Yeah, last week.
last week actually.
And
I
you know-
washed it, people. I washed it.
Maybe. So go check some of that stuff out. Become a fixer. You can be, a mother fixer. You could be a brother fixer. You could be whatever you want to be, basically, when you're wearing our stuff. So next week we should be back in the swing of things with guests. We got some that we're super excited about, and I think everybody will enjoy some of these episodes that are coming out soon. So,
Yep.
Anything else, Stephen?
No. Bye.
Bye.
Thanks for tuning in. Kyle and Steven will be back with a new episode next week. In the meantime, check out gofixyourselfpodcast.com. And remember to always go fix yourself.